Good day, top of the morning to you, good day. It's me, your boy, welcome back. At this point, it would be fair to say that the changes in 1.18 are significant, not ignorable even. 1.18 is the second half of the Caves and Cliffs update. This is going to be a pretty cool update. Today, we're going to talk all about it, more specifically the features that are in 1.18 as of Snapshot 21W43A. This video is meant to be a quick summary of everything 1.18 up until now. Down below in the comments, drop your favorite thing in the update, smash like to help make sure that you don't experience any kind of sleep paralysis demon or anything like that. Like, trust me, you don't want to experience this stuff. It's not good at all. Just trust me. And subscribe if you're new. So far, 1.18 is one of the biggest updates of this game ever, but at the same time, it doesn't have very many new things, at least not right now. Some of the biggest changes in 1.18, right now at least, have to do with generation and mechanical things. To be clear, in this video, we will only be talking about things actually in the snapshots right now. Aside from a brand new menu screen, the very first thing that you're going to notice when you load up the game in 1.18 is the world. The world is completely different. The generation system has been completely redone. Pretty much every single biome in this game is getting a revamp in 1.18 because generation is completely different. The world got taller, the world got deeper. Bedrock has been lowered all the way down to -64, more room for caves. The build height limit has been extended all the way up to 319, insane, with the tallest mountains reaching up to 260. Of course, with an update that redoes generation so massively, new biomes. 1.18 will bring a handful of new biomes to the game. Some of the biomes are on the surface, some of them are actually down in the caves. The first biome is the meadow biome. The meadow biome is the biome right in front of us right now, with all of the flowers and with the tree with the bees in it. The meadow is a peaceful biome with tons of flowers and potentially bees. It's also one of the lowest mountain biomes. Another mountain biome that you'll be able to find not too high up is the grove biome. The grove biome is the biome in the middle of the dark oak forest right here. It's actually kind of tiny right now, but it's fine, it works. The grove is basically a snowy taiga biome with powder snow on the ground. Powder snow, sometimes at least. It seems that I usually just find normal snow blocks on the ground here, but yeah, powder snow can generate here too, so you'll have to watch out. 1.18 does something completely different with biome generation when it comes to the mountain biomes. So the meadow, the grove biome, these are two of the lowest mountain biomes. As you start to move higher up in these new mountains, you'll be able to find different biomes, like the snowy slopes biome. The snowy slopes biome is the biome right in the middle here. It's above the grass, but it's below the stone. The snowy slopes biome is, like the name says, all about snow. In the snowy slopes biome, you'll be able to find snow blocks all over the place and powder snow. Now, from my experience in this biome, when I found powder snow patches, they tend to be a little bit deeper, a little bit more dangerous, so you'll have to be careful. But snow. Snowy slopes is all about snow. Moving higher up on this mountain, we have the Jagged Peaks biome. The Jagged Peaks biome is one of the mountain peak biomes. There are actually 3 peak biomes. The Jagged Peaks is all about snow and stone. Oh yeah, and of course peaks. The peaks are jagged here. The Jagged Peaks biome is a cold peak biome. What happens if a mountain were to generate in a warm spot and then go all the way up to the peak? Well, the answer to that question would be the Stony Peaks. The Stony Peaks biome is this biome. It's just like the Jagged Peaks biome, except this time no snow, it's all stone and calcite. You can actually find chunks of calcite generating in this biome right here, which makes it basically amazing. In Minecraft, just like with the new mountains, you have warm biomes and cold biomes. If a mountain generates in a warm biome, the peak is more likely to be a warm peak, so the stony peak. If it's in a cold biome, then it's more likely to be one of the cold peak biomes. And generation, yeah, I already mentioned the generation is changing in 1.18 for the better, but seriously, like, look at this thing. We have a gigantic stone mountain with like a giant crack in it, and it goes down into a cave too. This is insane stuff. Anyways, the next and also final new mountain biome for now is this one right here, ice. Ice is the special unique thing about this biome. This biome is called the Frozen Peaks, and yeah, tons of packed ice all over the top of the mountain. It's like a typical ice-capped mountain. Snow too. Goats can spawn here as well. I mean, I don't even have to say anything else about it. Like, look at it with the ice on top of it. The ice like blends into the sky.
Amazing.
So clearly a lot about this game is changing up on the surface, but that's not all. Under the ground, a ton of stuff is changing too. So I mentioned earlier that bedrock gets moved all the way down to -64. That's going to make a lot more room for caves. Speaking of caves, cave shapes and generation has been completely redone. The structures that you'll be able to find generating under the ground, mine shafts, dungeons, strongholds, those are the same, but the caves, completely different. The caves have brand new, massive, gigantic shapes, like this thing right here, insane. We would have never seen something like this before. In fact, there wouldn't have even been room for something like this before. Once you get down by Y0, all of the stone is going to turn over to deep slate, and then that's what it is, all the way down to the bottom of the world. So brand new cave shapes, and also aquifers, bodies of water, or sometimes lava if you're deep enough, that generate inside of these cave systems. Sometimes they create waterfalls, sometimes they connect to other caves, sometimes they can even connect to the ocean. In 1.18, you'll still be able to find geodes generating under the ground. They're just going to be a little bit deeper now. The geodes will now only generate below Y30. Also now generating under the ground, ore veins. Ore veins are a brand new way to find ores, and a ton of them too. If you're above Y0, you'll be able to find copper and granite veins. If you're below Y0, you'll be able to find tuff and iron veins. Basically, imagine copper, just like this right here, mixed in with tons of granite, and it's gigantic. Like, you can literally get thousands of ore from these things. Insane. And they can get pretty expansive too. Taking a look at all of these caves in here, most of the granite that we're seeing with the copper too, I'm pretty sure is a gigantic copper ore vein. New cave shapes, aquifers, massive ore veins, they're all cool and all, but probably the most exciting part about these new caves is definitely going to be the cave biomes. Coming in 1.18, right now we have 2 different cave biomes. This is one of them, the dripstone cave biome, dripstone all over the place, hanging from the ceiling, on the ground, and then these giant massive pillars too if the cave gets big enough. It's really sweet looking. The viewpoint from the ground inside of this biome, especially once the cave starts to get a little bit bigger, like this right here, is insane. You feel tiny. But there are 2 cave biomes. The other cave biome is the lush cave biome. Lush caves right here is so lush, it's so alive, it feels so good inside of this place. Now in 1.18, this will be the only place that you'll be able to find axolotl spawning, at least right now, and you can find tropical fish spawning here too. Take away the night vision and you'll be able to see how naturally bright this biome can be sometimes. If the cave doesn't get too tall, the cave vines can actually light this up pretty well. The point of the Lush Caves biome is life. The biome is super filled out. It has the azalea bushes, flowering and normal ones. It has drip leaf plants, moss blocks all over the place, cave vines, spore blossoms too sometimes. It's life, for sure. Alongside those brand new biomes though, there is actually another biome that is new, kind of, to 1.18 that was never in survival Minecraft before. It's going to be the deep warm ocean. Now, don't get too excited because the biome is literally just a deep warm ocean. It's nothing too interesting at all. This is the deep warm ocean right here. It's warm, but it's deep now. Because of how generation was before, the deep warm ocean would never generate in a normal world. Now it does. Also, because of the generation changes that have been made so far, rivers should look better than ever, terrain should look better than ever, and biomes are going to behave a little bit different. Let's say we have a desert, like this spot right here. Sometimes the desert can get a little bit hilly. In 1.17 and below, if the desert got too hilly, it would become the Desert Hills biome. Actually a separate biome. It looks the same, but it is separate. Those sub-biomes are now gone in 1.18, which means all of these biomes right here that you're looking at on screen are not in the game anymore. All of these biomes aren't in the game anymore, but you see, they still are. For most biomes, height doesn't affect generation anymore, which means if you have a forest and then it starts to get hilly, it doesn't become a hilly forest biome. It's all still just a forest. Now, alongside the merging of some of these biomes, we also have name changes. Some biomes will be getting name changes in this update. For example, the Shattered Savanna is now the Windswept Savanna. There'll be a handful of other biome name changes too, but that's all they are. Just name changes. The biome is still the same. And finally, for biome and generation stuff today, cloud height. Cloud height in 1.17 was 128. Cloud height in 1.18 is going to be 192. The world gets taller, so that makes sense. One of the biggest changes coming to the game in 1.18 has to do with mob spawning. For the longest time, hostile mobs would be able to spawn in an area that is all the way up to a light level 7. Now, in 1.18, hostile mobs can only spawn in complete darkness, at least most of them. This change makes lighting up areas way easier, and it also actually makes other light sources, like the soul torch or even the redstone torch, usable. Like, you could actually light up an area and block spawns kind of effectively. Not efficiently. The other light sources can actually block spawns now. It's great. So now it needs to be darker across the board for mobs to spawn, unless you're a spawner. Spawners will be getting a little bit more dangerous in 1.18. In 1.18, they'll be able to spawn hostile mobs in a space that is up to light level 11. Speaking of lighting, a parity update coming in 1.18. Enchantment tables. They give off a light level now. Look at this. This is so great. Bedrock has had it for the longest time, and Java finally gets it in 1.18. No more needing to have ugly, pathetic torches around the enchantment setup. That's great. 1.18 will also make an amazing change to buried treasure. In 1.18, if you go looking for buried treasure and actually find it, you'll now find water-breathing potions inside of the loot chest. Minecraft 1.18 is actually the vine update because most of the vines in the game have actually been updated. So there's a brand new functionality with shears. If I have shears and walk up to a vine and right-click, basically you cut the tip of the vine. Visually, nothing changes at all about the vine, which is kind of unfortunate, but the vine will no longer grow. And that's going to work the same for kelp too. Let's say you're decorating with kelp. I wanted this to stay like this. Grab shears, use shears, and it cuts the top, and now the kelp will no longer grow. That's great. I would love it if there would be a texture update to the tip of the vines that have been cut, though. That would be great. Minecraft 1.18 really changes it all. If you ever catch yourself having a bunch of different effects, or maybe even one effect at a time, check your inventory and look at this. The effects have been moved over there, finally. They're not behind the recipe book. It's only taken, like, a minute, but, like, it's so nice. A couple of nice copper changes coming at 1.18. Before 1.18 and 1.17, if I mined this copper ore, I would get either 2 or 3 pieces of raw copper. In 1.18, I'll be able to get anywhere between 2 and 5 raw copper. It's so much better. Actually, look at that. 5 right there. So that's really nice. It's going to make it a lot easier to get large amounts of copper for building, the point of copper. And then watch this. Instead of a stone cutter with this block of copper right here, I can go ahead and cut this into 4 blocks of cut copper. This is insane. Pair all of those changes with a good Fortune 3 pickaxe, and getting a large amount of copper is so much easier now. Fortune 3 this stuff, turn it into copper blocks, and then cut it into cut copper for building. You'll have so much copper. So easy too. Baby villagers have a better chance at survival in 1.18 because the things that attack villagers will no longer attack baby villagers. So like pillagers, these things, they won't attack the babies. Water mob spawning has changed a lot in 1.18. Cod, salmon, pufferfish, tropical fish, squid, and dolphins will now only spawn in water between Y50 and Y64. That's like the depth of a river. Depth of a river, but it applies to all biomes. It's not really a problem though because the mobs move around, they can swim deeper. The glow squid has some pretty strange temporary spawning mechanics in 1.17. In 1.18 they're removed. Glow squid will be able to spawn anywhere in water below Y30. Things like aquifers down deep, water inside of cave systems, both of those should be perfect. In 1.18 there are some texture fixes. For example, the sign texture, look at this stuff, has been changed a little bit, and the door texture right here, the item, has been changed a little bit too. Or fixed. And then finally, for today's settings, there are a couple new settings in 1.18. The simulation distance toggle is a brand new setting. The lower you set this thing, the better performance should be. The higher you set this thing, the longer things should actually be active while you're not right next to them. And instead of accessibility settings, we have a brand new toggle option, sprint toggle. You don't have to hold down the sprint button anymore if you don't want to or if you can't. That's kind of nice. And for now, finally, when it comes to Minecraft 1.18, brand new music. The 1.18 update is going to add a bunch of new music, including one brand new music disc. This music disc is called Other Side. It's by Lena Rain, the same person that made Pig Step. It's really cool, and it's very rare. I won't be playing any of the new music in today's video, but on screen is a card to a video where I did. Check it out. Lena Rain and Kumi Tanioka are the 2 musicians that worked on the new 1.18 soundtrack. It's really good and super chill. Minecraft 1.18, Caves and Cliffs Part 2. And when it comes to content inside of the snapshots right now, that's what we have. That's where we're at. What's your favorite thing in 1.18 so far, and what are you most excited for? That's going to be it for today's video. Thanks for watching. Huge thank you to my patrons Divins, Violet Pirate, and Dark Panther 7 for helping make content like this possible. I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.